All right, we're going to start in just a minute as soon as...
My mother named her from
Looking
a
good,
girl in Georgia that she got to know, and her little girl's name was Wylene.
Okay.
And so then when she got married and I came along, then that was my name.
Well, I love that.
Wylene.
I will get it right. So I'm going to go ahead and start if that's okay.
Okay.
Today is October 30th, 2024. And
Yesterday was actually my birthday
Oh.
on the 99th. So today is a whole new year, and I'm starting over this year.
You're going to roll the odometer back.
I'm going to roll it back. I'm going to start in again. This one's going to be 101.
I love it.
So
Well,
I
happy
just
birthday.
finished the 100, and so we're going to be working on 101
I love it.
this year.
We are visiting with 100-year-old Wylene Keller, a Davie County native.
Mm-hmm.
Our thanks to Libby Carell, who facilitated this meeting. My name is Jane McAllister. My camera
Are
operator.
you related to any of the McAllisters that live up the road?
You know, I'm not. My husband's family is MC capital A, and there aren't very many MC capital A McAllisters in Davie County.
Oh, okay,
His family is all from the Northeast and down into Virginia.
okay.
So, no, we don't
Well,
have
right
local
up the
roots.
road here, between here and up the main highway, there's a whole lot of McAllisters live right in there.
Oh, okay.
Super nice folks.
Well, it's a different McAllister tree.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Okay,
Kathy is a volunteer in the history room at the library,
okay.
and we really appreciate you talking with us today.
Well, I can talk, but
Yes,
but I'm not sure. I'm sort of, be careful. And these pictures, I'd rather you didn't make pictures.
You will be fine, and folks will enjoy listening to this, I have no doubt. Can we start, if you don't mind, by having you tell us a little bit about your family and your childhood?
Well, okay. You know where the prison camp is down here?
Uh-huh.
My dad, it was not there then. My dad moved into a house that's right in front of where the prison camp is.
Okay.
There was a little house right there. And my dad moved there, and that's when I was 2 years old. And lived right there all my life until I got married. Right there.
Okay.
We were there when they built the prison camp. That was not there. The county home, of course, now that's been torn down. That was around the curve up there. Do you know where that was? The county home was up there then, for
Okay.
all those years, for people that didn't have a home and didn't have any place to go, and they had people right there all the time.
Okay.
And then I remember when they came in and built a prison camp, built all those buildings and started the prison camp down there. That was not there until I was about grown.
Okay.
Hmm.
Okay. How about siblings? Did you have siblings?
Oh yes, I had a sister, and then I had 2 half brothers.
And what did your dad do?
Actually, I had 2 sisters, and one passed away.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, my dad was just a farmer.
He was a farmer,
Yes, all those years.
so I guess you probably helped, huh?
Oh my goodness, yes. Acres of cotton.
Oh, wow.
Cotton and hoe cotton and pick cotton and pick cotton and pick cotton.
Okay, so that's really hard work.
Oh yeah, back-breaking work.
Yeah. Where did he take it once he picked it?
Well, there was a place in Moxville that where you took it and they baled it, put it in bales.
Okay.
Yeah. There was a place in Moxville where you did that.
Okay, and then they would pay you for the crop.
Let me tell you a fun little story, but I don't want you to put it in there. There was several black ladies out town that we knew, and they loved to pick cotton. So they would get somebody to bring them out to our field, and when we'd be picking cotton, and of course they each had her own sack, and then my dad would weigh theirs and of course pay them, every certain times whenever it was time to do that. And they love to sing. You know, black ladies can sing. And so here we are in this big old cotton patch, and we're picking cotton with these sacks hanging on us, and they're just singing. And it's beautiful
Oh, I
because we
bet.
were out in a big old field down there and singing and singing and singing. And one day my daddy said, Sally, you know, if you wouldn't sing as much and pick more, I believe you could pick more cotton. And of course he'd weigh it, you know, for them to have what they'd picked that day. But she could see, you could hear her half a mile. And in a way, it was beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. But anyway, she said, Mr. Bailey, I'm not picking cotton with my mouth. You know, she's picking cotton with her hand. And she just looked up in and she said, Mr. Bailey, I'm not picking cotton with my mouth.
I love that.
But that was so good, that was so good. But you
love
could
that.
hew them sing for a half a mile. There were several of the black ladies that would come and pick cotton. Yeah. And I'd have to stay out of school days, pick cotton and pick cotton and pick cotton. And I could pick 200 pounds in a day.
Oh my stars, you're kidding.
Yeah, I could. Mm-hmm.
That's phenomenal.
No wonder. It was backbreaking, but then, you know, that was just the way we did it.
Wow.
We worked. But I had a sister that didn't do that much because she saw every bird that flew over that cotton patch. She just was, you know, she was funny.
Her attention was on the birds, not the cotton.
Now you know, that was true. She wasn't trying to get more cotton in there in her bag.
So tell me about your schooling. Where did you go to school?
Right in Moxville.
How did you get there?
Well, at first they did not have school buses. There was not school buses
Right.
when I first started. And there was a Mr. Sanford Green family that just lives up the road right here. The Green family is still, part of them is still there. They had a T-model Ford. And they had 2 boys and 1 girl that was still in school. And so the older daughter that had driver's license, she would take that T-model and take them to school every day. So they would come by my house and pick me up, and I would ride with them every day.
Okay.
And then in the afternoons, we would all, of course, I was the littlest one in the group, and the older ones took care of me, and they were close to the school where I was. So then we would walk and come down on Sanford Avenue to one of those houses that's there, and wait for Margaret to come get us in late afternoon.
Okay.
She'd come and get us.
Okay. So you went to the school on Cherry Street in Knoxville?
Yeah, yeah,
The little building on
yeah.
Okay. And that was all grades at the time, right?
What?
All grades?
5. No, the 5th. We went over to the building where the 6th grade started over there.
Okay. At the
Rock.
Rock Center. Okay.
It was they had built that, and the 6th grade started over there,
Okay.
and graduated from that one.
Okay. So if you think back on your childhood, what memories stand out most clearly for you?
Oh goodness, I don't know.
Think about holidays, think about the biggest changes that occurred. What strikes you?
Well, I don't know. We got to see the prison camp built,
Uh-huh.
and then they put in telephones system for everybody. Now a lot of we had a telephone where we were right there because they had run the telephone system up to the county home.
Okay.
And so that way we had telephone system, but past the county home that was up there, people didn't have one unless they run lines and put up poles and built their own, and a lot of people did.
Okay.
There was a telephone system on up there for a good while, that people took care of it themselves.
How about television? Do you remember getting television?
Oh, not for a long time.
Yeah.
Not for a long time. We did have a radio that we could get everything on, but I don't even remember when we first got a television. That was long ways off.
Right. So tell us how you met your spouse.
He was born and raised right here in this same community. I lived down there, well, the prison camp was not there, but the house was right there. And I lived in that area, and then he lived on this road, down at the end of this road.
Okay.
So we both lived sort of, in each community that we visited back and forth. And so I knew him
Okay.
as I grew up, and then he was about 8-9 years older than me.
Okay.
But anyway, then he was drafted into the Army and was there for, I don't know, 3.5 or 4 years. And I wrote to him all the time he was gone,
Oh.
cause I thought, he'd love to hear from somebody from home. And then when he would have a furlough, he would come home, and then we'd get together then. And then after then we just kept up our conversation and letter writing and all that kind of stuff till at one point in time, he asked me to marry him, and I said yes.
Okay.
And so then we eventually got married.
Well, excellent. Congratulations. So did you stay right in this area when you got married?
Oh yeah, because the war was still on.
Okay.
I stayed there with my folks, and first thing you know, I was pregnant. And so then he had a furlough, and I decided to go back with him down. He was stationed in Florida, and I decided to go back with him, so packed up my little things and went down there. He found a place for me. He had made friends down there that had families that were there, so they let us have one of their rooms, and so that's where I stayed down there. And then, of course, I was pregnant, but then the war was still going bad. And they put up a sign, and his name was on it. They were fixing to send several overseas.
Mm-hmm.
So they let him have a furlough beforehand, and so we decided to bring me home because he didn't want to leave me down there like that. And to have a baby down there and not many people, or nobody that was steady anyway, hardly. But anyway, he brought me home.
Okay.
And I stayed home, and just a day or two before the baby was born, they didn't send him overseas right away. He kept thinking he was going to have to go, but then he had another furlough. They let him come home, and he got home like today, this afternoon, about 2:00. About 7:00, they sent us a telegram. They send them there in Moxville, and then they called people, to tell them on the telephone what to tell. And so he had to turn around and go right back.
No way.
Yes, he had to turn around and go right back the next day. And so when he got back, then it wasn't but just a few days till he got his discharge.
Oh.
And so then he made reservations for a train that only runs in this area, not this area, to Salisbury area, or Winston-Salem area. I can't think of the name of it. But anyway, he got on that train the next day to come home.
Okay.
And I got all excited about him coming home, you know, and the baby was almost due. So anyway, my brother and his wife picked me up and brought me to take me to my husband's mom and dad's to tell them that he'd been discharged. He was their only child. And he'd been discharged and was coming home the next day. And of course, you know, everybody was just so happy and that kind of thing, and we got home. Now, I should not be telling all this.
You're doing a great job.
Yeah, but you're gonna put this where people can read it.
Well, yes, ma'am. So if there's anything that you don't want me to include, then you just tell me. But otherwise, we're rolling with it. You're doing great.
Well, anyway, we were so excited that he was going to be coming home the next day, and so we went to tell his mom and dad because he was an only child, and of course they was tickled to death to know he was coming home. And so when we got back home, I don't know, went to bed, and I don't know, it wasn't but a little while till I had to get up to the potty, and first thing you know, I had to do it again, and then my mom said, I bet things are fixing to happen. So Dr. Harding was our doctor, and of course the baby was going to be born at home. So she called him, and he answered the phone, but he was so busy and tired, till after he answered that telephone, he was give out because everybody had him going. He was about our only doctor in Moxville at that time. And so he laid that phone down and he went back to sleep. So my mom had to send my sister down the road there at the next house down there. My brother lived there to go get him. We had to go get him because he had gone back to sleep. So my brother went out to his house. He lived out in North Main. And my brother went out there and got him up and got him awake. And here he come. And so then,
did he get here in time?
he got there in time. He stopped and got his nurse. His nurse was Margaret Waters. She lived right there in Moxville, and that's who his nurse was. And he stopped and got her and brought her out there. And of course, after he checked me, he knew that it wasn't going to be too long before I was in labor and was going to have a baby. And sure enough, my little one was born in a few hours after that. Yeah, my baby was born, and Margaret and him did it. Margaret Waters and Dr. Harding
Okay.
was my doctor. So that's how my baby got here.
So your doctor got here in time, but your husband didn't quite make it in time.
He didn't make it in time, no, because this was, Mama said if he had kept that telegram, that I wouldn't have got all excited, and if he had just to come home, and if he had just to come home and surprise me when he got home, if he had kept that telegram, I wouldn't have got all excited, and I wouldn't have had a baby right then. But that wasn't the way it happened. But anyhow, no, he didn't. Let's see, Bob was born like on Sunday night. No, let's don't put that, I forgot the date. Anyway, it was a day after that. Yeah, it was on Saturday night. Bob was born on Sunday morning about 4 o'clock. And then Buck got to Moxville. His dad got to Moxville on Monday morning
Okay.
about 6 o'clock.
Oh.
And his dad knew so he went out there and picked him up and brought him to the house. And of course, Mama was in the kitchen fixing breakfast because this was early. And I was still in bed, and Buck said to my mom, where's Wylene? And he didn't know the baby was there. And she said, she's still in the bed. Go back there and get her out. And so when he got back there I laid in the bed with a little baby boy.
I bet that was wonderful.
It was. He was tickled to death to see
Oh,
his little boy.
that's wonderful.
Yeah.
What did your husband do, Wylene? What was his profession?
Oh, he was in service for all those years.
Okay.
And then after he got out of service, then he went to work for the VA.
Okay.
Yeah. He went to work after a while. The VA in Salisbury,
Mm-hmm.
that was when it was first being built. And they hired him. They were fixing to, they were expecting 1,000 people to be coming to live there. And so he helped to get everything ready for all those first people that came.
Oh, wow. So he was in at the very beginning.
Yeah, because he was, he was in the medics when he was in the Army, and so that helped him to get his job for that too.
Okay. And then he just stayed there?
And he stayed there. He retired from there.
Wow.
After all those years.
Wow.
Retired from Salisbury to VA.
Okay. How about you? Did you ever work outside the home?
Yeah. When after my boys, Bob got my boy. First one was named Bob, and after he got a little size, they built our Davie County Hospital.
Okay.
And so then I had always, going through school, I was planning to be a nurse, but when I graduated from high school, there just wasn't no way I could leave my mama and go to Winston-Salem to go in training.
Okay.
I had an aunt that was a nurse over there, and she wanted me to come and live with her and go to school over there at City Hospital. That was so many years ago. But anyway, when it come time for me to do that, I just could not leave my mama. I just could not, because back then the only way to get to there was to ride a Greyhound bus to go to Winston and ride a bus to come home
Right.
and that kind of thing. So I just could not do that. So
Okay.
I stayed home.
Okay.
And then I found a little job in Moxville. There was a place out there that was making men's socks and like a hosiery mill.
Mm-hmm.
It was there, so I went to work. And I worked in there for a little while, a year or so. And so then they had built to have the Davie County Hospital. They had built the hospital, so it had been there for some time. I don't know how long, but anyway, there was one of their nurses that was going to teach a nursing aid class.
Mm-hmm.
So I decided to take that, and after wanting to be a nurse all through the years and could not leave home to go to do that, this was just an opportunity for me. So I took all of her classes and made really good grades
Good.
the whole time. And so then after that, I got a job at Davie County Hospital
Okay.
and worked there for many years.
Okay. Good for you.
And loved every minute of it. I loved the hospital, and we had a good little hospital. Davie County should have always been so proud of the hospital that they had, because we had good doctors, Dr. Kimberly and Dr. Foster, and then Dr. Slate, and the good surgeon. We had a good hospital right there
Excellent.
for so many years.
Well, I'd ask you for stories, but you probably shouldn't tell stories about patients or doctors.
No, there's not too many that I should tell. Well, and I didn't have that many stories because, it was just all good, hard work,
Right.
and just loved all the patients and really took care of them, and the patients were really taken care of at Davie County Hospital. And then Dr. Who did I say, the surgeon? Dr. Slate. was a good, we had just had good doctors.
Mhm.
It was Dr. Foster and Dr. Kimberly and Dr. Edwards,
Mhm.
and they're still in
Mhm.
Mossville.
They sure are. Dr. Kimberly still volunteers at the storehouse,
Yeah, yeah.
so they're
I haven't
still.
got to see him in a while, but I would love to see him, and because he was a good doctor. And Dr. The surgeon. I think that awful lady's name just won't come to me right
I
now.
can't help you. I don't know.
Dr. Slade.
Dr. Slade.
Was the surgeon?
That's who it
Slade.
was, Dr.
Okay.
Slade.
Okay.
And I've not seen him in a long time, but I understand he is in a nursing home over in Winston. And I've been wanting to be able to go over there. I don't know what his mind is, but I would love to go see him because he was one of the best doctors. And if he was doctoring somebody and he really, didn't know exactly what he was doing, he was not beyond saying, listen, we need to call in somebody else. He would send them to somebody else if he just couldn't figure it out. He was so good at that.
Good.
Because if he couldn't do it, he wanted the patient to know. He was so honest with his patients.
Well,
So
that's
good with
invaluable,
patients.
and that's rare, I think.
He was so good.
Excellent.
Little story I could tell you about him, but I'm not going to do it because you'd take it, and I don't want you to take it.
Okay, we won't go there then. We'll avoid that.
Well, she needs to turn it off then. Because she's got it going there too.
Okay, well, we'll turn it off for a minute.
But this was just a little funny thing about Dr. Slate that we